cube root of 3x minus 1 plus 1 equals 4. Okay? And I'll explain as I go here. The first thing I would do, guys, is I would subtract 1 from both sides. Subtract 1, subtract 1. Gone, 3. Since we had a cube root on the left, it could have been a fourth root, but this one's a cube root. How I get rid of a cube root is to cube both sides. Now I think a lot of you knew this. You just made a little math error with this one, and it all went sadly astray from there. That cancels out. So I have 3x minus 1. What does 3 cubed and dealt say? 9? 27 is correct. 27. I add 1, I add 1. I get 3x equals 28 thirds, and I'm done. Okay? If you made a mistake there, you know, just always double check it. You would have saw that it didn't work out, but that one wasn't that bad. Okay? The next one will be, it was a little bit tougher one of the factoring, but it did say factor only, not worrying about solutions, same deal later on. Okay? We have something like this. Now, when you have something that has kind of a quadratic nature to it, but the numbers look too big, try to do a substitution property, okay? Sometimes they call it U substitution, but I'm just going to use a W. So why don't we say, let x cubed equals W. Any letter you want, okay? Then we just kind of have to be clever and think, what would we substitute that for? So if W squared, would that make sense, that if W represents x cubed, it'd be x to the 6? Okay. So I'm going to say minus 26W minus 27. Now again, it said factor, not solve, so we don't have to do a lot of the other work here. Okay? First thing I would do is see if I can factor this out. Since this is a 1, we probably can find nice numbers fairly easily. What do we think it is?
Negative 27 and positive 1.
Negative 27 and positive 1? Let's see if that's right. We'll always double check. Was the product negative 27? Yes. Was the sum negative 26? Yes. At this point, we do not set those equal to 0, because I don't care about the solution. I just want to factor it, okay? So I am going to do this, though. I'm going to look back to the original and replace what I took. So I'm just going to write it up here. Instead of W, I'm going to write x cubed plus 1. Okay? Instead of W, I'm going to write x cubed minus 27. Okay? Now, same deal. You don't have to memorize that formula yet. But is everyone okay so far? I am now going to do the difference of sum of cubes, and I'll write that down on the board, okay? Oop, if I can erase. Okay. So what I'm going to write down now, I'll do the sum of cubes. A cubed plus B cubed equals, can anyone tell me the rest?
No, it's just A plus B.
A plus B.
A squared minus B.
A squared minus AB plus B squared. Okay, plus, plus, minus, we're good. Might as well write down the difference while we're here. A cubed minus B cubed equals, very similar, A
minus B.
Minus B, A squared.
Plus AB.
Perfect. So I got plus AB plus B squared. Okay? Those are just two rules. So I'm going to look at this first one, but I got to rename it. It looks a little bit similar, but something's not lining up, right? So I'm going to rewrite this as x cubed plus 1 cubed. And although it means the same thing, it's just going to make the math do what it's supposed to, right? I know I used the top one, so I'm just going to do it. X plus 1, we agree. I square the first term, which was my x. And I get x squared, don't forget the minus. X times 1 is 1x, or just x. And then it says to take my last one and square it as well. So I get plus 1. Okay? Now it seems almost too easy, but we already have 3 factors here. There's 2 in here, or 2 solutions, hidden. 1 done. I'm done that one. Okay? So I'm just going to move on to the next one. X cubed minus 3 cubed. Then I look to the other formula and say, oh, now I have the difference of cubes. So x subtract, where am I? 3. I'm almost done, guys. X squared, where am I? Right here, plus. What do I write down now?
X squared plus 3x plus, minus 3x.
Wait, write that formula, so it's a plus, right?
Yeah.
And then I get plus 9.
Yeah.
I'm done. Okay, and I'm guessing that was one of the toughest ones in the whole quiz, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, you see it's not that bad, especially if you have to memorize the formulas, right?
Wait, is that it?
That's it.
So what do you put as the answer?
This is it, guys.
Do we
This
have
is
to
a
factor
factor,
that out?
a factor. It doesn't factor out.
Okay.
But I thought there were 6 answers.
Okay, if I said solution said equal to 0, we'd have to do quadratic formula, get 2 solutions, third, fourth, fifth, sixth.
That's what I.
But since we're just factoring it, it's factored. Okay, that's done.
So the x plus 1 or the x plus 3 are an answer to the other.
Absolutely right. If you're this, you're done. Okay?
Pretty much had that. Should be better.
Wait, you said pretty much or the same?
Yeah.
'Cause
Pretty much.
pretty much. Here we go. So we got 2 done. I go right in order now again. We're starting with the exponent one. So if I have 12xw to the negative 2, 30x to the negative 1w to the negative 2. Now again, I might do it different than your past teacher did. It's okay, whichever way you're good at. I tend to reduce whenever I can. I'm going to look at that. Now, you see why though? I don't want to mess around with this and square it. I want to reduce it, okay? What can I take out as a factor out of a 12 and a 30?
6.
Perfect. So I'm going to make that number small and just say, well, take out a 6, I got a 2, right? Take out a 6, I got a 5. Now from here, what if I go like this, just to be really clear? Do you remember that when it's in the bottom, it's a negative, it can jump up as a positive? X squared up top, absolutely right. I'm just going to write x squared. If it's upstairs, it's a negative, it jumps down as a positive. W cubed on bottom. Now I'm going to raise that to the negative 2, and just remember the rule again, a over b to the negative x is b over a to the positive x. And it might look tricky, but it's easier to just do, right? What do I do now?
Flip it.
I just flip it. So now I have 5w cubed over 2x squared, bless you, quantity squared, and I can't forget just to do what it's supposed to. What's 5 squared? 25. W to the?
6.
Okay, how come you can do it now? You know, so now I have 2 squared is 4w to the 4th, and we're done. Did I misgrade it?
I actually
No,
got
I'm
that
just saying.
one.
I
Oh, okay, you get that right, okay.
I actually almost forgot to put the x to the 4th. I went back and redid it.
I'm not trying to rush you, I'm just trying to keep the video short so you don't have to, if you watch it, it's not like an hour. Okay. Here we go. So if I have something like this, 3x cubed minus 2x plus 1 divided by x plus 2, and I said, Mason, do you prefer synthetic or poly for this?
Poly.
Well, it's up to you. I can do either. What do you guys want to see?
I did synthetic.
I will say synthetic is quick, and I wouldn't make it harder than this on the redo here, okay? So the one thing you cannot forget in either case is to have zeros as placeholders, okay? So I'm going to go like this, just put a line. I'm going to start with a 3, because that's 3x cubed. Notice I didn't have an x squared, so I put a 0, indicating the x squared position. When I get down to the 1, it's a negative 2 as a coefficient, and then a 1. Does that make sense how I set it up?
Yeah.
Okay? Remember to do it backwards, L, and do the opposite sign of what's right there. So I get a negative 2, I drop, and I begin. Okay, always do the opposite, and here we go. Are you ready? What's negative 2 times 3? Negative 6. I add down, negative 6. Product of negative 2 and negative 6 is positive 12. Add down, I get a 10. I get a negative 20. What's that, negative 19? Okay. The hardest part is done. I look up to the very original, the highest leading degree, and go 1 less. Okay? So that's going to be an x squared. That's going to be an x. We're done. And I have x plus 2. I will put a plus right there. Okay? Same exact answer if you did polynomial long division, it's just quicker right now. Okay? Okay. So, next one was 16x to the 4th minus 81w to the 4th. Okay. When I look at this, I know it's not difference in cubes, because there's no way I'm going to get a nice cube, well, I won't say no way, but nothing we want to do. Bring this right to squares. I'll write down the rule again, ready? So if I have a squared minus b squared, that's equal to, you guys tell me? A plus b minus b, doesn't matter which way. Okay. So I'm going to look at that 16x to the 4th. I'm going to try to make it look like that. How can I rewrite this quantity right here to be something squared?
4x.
You guys are doing great. So if I call this 4x squared squared, let's just look at it. That end result would still be 16x to the fourth, right? So I'm going to look again and say, what would this be?
9w squared squared.
Squared. And I check it, I get 81w to the fourth. I'm doing good. But now I'm very set up for this setup right here. It's all perfect now, okay? So I'm going to write this down. I'm going to say, well, I got a 4x squared, right, minus 9w squared. And I have a 4x squared plus 9w squared. And this guy right here is done. Okay, I can't really factor him nicely right now. That's done. But I do look here, and I realize I have the next setup again. It's just repeated. This is like if you had a little box and a little box inside of it and a little box. It's just that same type of thinking. It's hidden. So I look right there, and I rewrite that as 2x squared. Let's double check. 4x squared, yeah. Then I get 3w squared. And I follow the rule one more time. So now I have a 2x minus 3w. I have a 2x plus 3w. And those are all my factors. Yep. It's just factored as far as I can really go.
Does it matter which one you choose to be done, then subtraction or the addition one?
You mean in order of these?
Like when you, in like the blue section up there?
The blue section was done only because it was a sum of squares. That rule is only for the difference of squares. So I can't really do much with this now, it's done, but the other one was the difference of squares. And I just follow that rule one more time.
So there's no sum of squares that we can do?
I won't say there's something I can't show you later on, but for right now, that's all anyone would want. On a SAT or Equiplacer, that would be what they want.
Okay.
Okay?
Because if you come up with a product,
So did you
you're
get
gonna
that
get
one
raised.
right?
I forgot to put the sum part, like I had part of it.
Okay, we have 10 over the 4th root of 8x squared. Now, there are two ways to approach this. The easy way or the hard way. I think you guys did the hard. If you can simplify it, I would. When I look at that 8, I don't want to be messing with anything here. I'm going to change that 8 to the smallest base with the highest exponent I can. Just makes math easier. Let's just look real quick. So if I have 10 over the 4th root of what's 8 base of 2? Okay, so I can say 2 cubed x squared. Now I can count really nice. Nothing can break out of jail, right? If it did, I would, but I can't. But now I'm just going to do that counting thing. So when I go to rationalize, what's 4 take away 3? 1. It means it's 1, 2, right there. What's 4 take away 2? X squared. Now I'll wait. What do you say something?
Why'd you do 4?
Because unless, every time it's like a square root, like a 2, you're able to just rationalize by multiplying by the same thing. But if it's 3, 4, 5, 6, any other number in the world, you have to do this method where you take it apart. Now you always go, this take away this is that power right here. And then this take away this is that power right there. And to prove it, let me just write this up top here. So I'm going to have a 2x squared. But to prove why that works real quick, when I multiply this and this, get the product, would you agree I get the 4th root? What happens when you multiply powers of the same base? You add. So then I get 3 plus 1 is 4, and I get 2 to the 4th. 2 plus 2 is 4, and I get x to the 4th. But see how they all break out of jail? So what you're left with is just 2x in the denominator, and you did your job. You rationalized it. So now I have 2x, and now I have, what do I have? 10 times the 4th root of 2x squared. Now, there's nothing that can break out of jail here, but I would have to do this just to be done. 5 times the 4th root of 2x squared all over x, and that would be done for that problem.
How come you don't keep the x squared? Like, how did you end up with 2x?
At the bottom?
Yeah, how did you end up with 2x?
Because when I multiply this portion right here and this portion right here, I ended up with x to the 4th. 4 goes into 4 once, 1x came out only. There's no x squared left.
Okay.
How did you get down to the top?
Whatever you do on the bottom, you do on the top. Since I rationalized by this, I have to do, it's technically called the special form of 1. Something over itself is 1. But that's just how you do it.
Okay.
Okay? And let's see what else we got. We got what, 4 more problems? Okay. Oh. Okay. Here we go. We got the 4th root of the square root of x to the 14th. Your job is just to simplify it. Okay? So when I look at this as it stands, I'm going to put a little 2 right here so I don't forget. Sometimes if it's not there, your brain just doesn't recognize what it's supposed to be.